They were never supposed to be that close, not ever. But he stood there, right at the tree line, just past the frostbitten fence post, still silent, too thin for the wild, too small to survive. It was early morning, outside Pine Hollow, Idaho. The sun hadn't cleared the tops of the pines yet. Mist clung low to the earth, draping the chicken coop, the rusted tools by the shed, and the wooden steps where Nora had placed her boots every single morning for the past 30 years. She was halfway to the feed bin when she saw him, a lynx kitten, no bigger than a house cat, but unmistakable. Tufted ears, oversized paws, wide golden eyes that didn't blink. He didn't run. He didn't flinch. He just looked at her. Nora's throat tightened. The metal scoop clanged against the bin. What is he doing here? Where's his mother? Why is he alone? She stepped slowly back toward the porch. But the lynx didn't move, didn't lower his head, didn't even blink. He looked like a creature already half gone, bones too sharp under patchy fur, shoulders trembling just to stay upright. Something stirred in her chest, familiar, terrifying. It was the same feeling she had the night they found their dog. Willa, tangled in barbed wire, a helpless ache, a deep, urgent need to fix something broken. But this wasn't a dog. This was wild. You shouldn't be here, baby, Nora whispered, and she turned away. All day, she watched the trees from the kitchen window, from the porch rocker, hoping he'd vanish into the forest. But when the evening chill settled and the last of the sun slipped behind the hills, Nora stepped outside again. He was still there, same place, same eyes, still waiting. That's when she called Luke, by lantern. Light, they moved carefully, brought a wool blanket, bowl of water, some leftover chicken. Luke laid it all near the old lean-to beside the shed. Open space, no pressure. The lynx came. Wobbly steps. Careful, he sniffed the meat. Took a single bite, then curled into the hay like it had always been his. He didn't glance at the forest, didn't hesitate, didn't try to leave. They never caged him, never touched him. But he stayed. Nora stood in the doorway, arms folded tight, and she knew this wasn't a mistake. He had chosen them. That night, she barely slept. Every creak of the porch, every cry of a night bird pulled her eyes open. Twice she peeked through the curtain. Still there, curled in hay, breathing slow. When dawn came, pale and quiet, Nora stepped outside. He lifted his head, no panic, no retreat. "Good morning," she whispered, like greeting a fragile ghost. She left fresh food and water. He didn't move until she stepped away. Then, slowly, he ate. Luke joined her on the porch, mug steaming in his hands. "You think he's injured?" "No, limp, just tired," Nora said softly. "I'm too tired to leave." Inside, soft footsteps. Padded across the floor, Willa, their Australian shepherd, nosed the screen door open. She froze when she saw him. The lynx paused mid-bite. Their eyes locked. Willa, no, Nora whispered. The dog lowered her head, alert, not aggressive. Protective. Especially now, with her 3 puppies barely 8 weeks old sleeping behind her. She stepped forward. The lynx didn't move. Another step. She sniffed the air and sat. The lynx blinked, lowered his head again, and kept eating. No bark. Only something unspoken, a quiet understanding. Willa lay down, not close, but not far. The next hour she simply watched. "I don't believe it," Luke murmured. "He's not a threat," Nora replied. "Not to her, not to us." They named him that afternoon Sage, like the hillside behind there. Cabin, quiet, wild, strong enough to grow through stone. That night, Willa curled beside the shed. Sage stayed in the hay. The next morning, the pups tumbled into the yard, clumsy, soft legs, still uncertain. Willa herded them gently, her nose nudging them one by one. Sage watched, still cautious. Then the smallest, Pup, a gray-speckled female, veered off and waddled toward him. Nora held her breath. The pup stopped, yipped curiously. Sage didn't. "Move." She yipped again, stepped closer, then slowly, like ice melting. Sage lowered his head. The pup sniffed his nose, wagged her tail once. Then again, and with one joyful bound, she nestled beside his front leg like she'd known him forever. Nora gasped. Luke whispered, "Did you see that?" The other pups followed, drawn by invisible threads. They crowded around Sage, bumping into his fur yipping. He didn't move. Then slowly sat down. The pups climbed onto him without hesitation. Willa watched, waited, then walked over. No growl, no warning. She lay beside them, and Sage, he didn't flinch. He curled gently into her side. That afternoon, they all slept together. A wild lynx, a shepherd, 3 puppies. It didn't make sense, but it was the most natural thing Nora had ever seen, from the porch. She wiped her eyes. Some bonds aren't taught, they're chosen. By the end of the week, the yard had changed. No longer just a space between trees. It had become something else. A world where wild and familiar blurred together, where paw prints big and small were pressed side by side into the dirt. Sage no longer watched from the edges. He moved with them. Chased the pups in slow arcs, let them climb his back. Flicked his tail just high enough to tease. He never made a sound. But his eyes, those wide golden eyes, seemed brighter. Nora watched from the kitchen window like it was a dream. Even Luke, fixing the coop latch, stopped to stare. It was like the whole mountain had gone quiet to witness the moment. Sage darted forward, then dropped to his belly. One pup barreled into him with fearless joy. The lynx rolled gently onto his side, letting her win. Willa watched from beneath the old elm tree. She had accepted him. That much was clear, but something deeper settled in Nora's heart. Sage didn't just fit in. He needed them. He followed Willa, trailed Luke, shadowed Nora, not like a predator, but like someone afraid of being left behind. Then came the night. Willa coughed. Just once. Barely a sound, but Nora knew. Not from dogs. From old things, tired things, things starting to fail. Within days, Willa could barely eat, couldn't rise. The pups didn't understand. They pawed at her, cried for her. She didn't answer. Sage never left her side. On the 4th morning, Luke wrapped her gently in his old flannel and carried her to the truck. No words, the pups howled as they drove away. Sage followed the truck to the tree line and waited. When it returned, Willa wasn't with them. The yard felt hollow. Sage lay in the hay where she once slept and didn't move. That night, the pups cried for hours, searching, sniffing, whimpering. Sage didn't curl up in the lean dash too. He lay in the open guarding them. When one whimpered, he nudged her gently, not with sound, but with presence. With stillness, this wasn't instinct. This was grief, shared, and somehow it was also healing. Then came the knock. State wildlife officers. A clipboard, official language. There's a lynx on your property. That's a violation. Not kept, Nora said. He came on his own. Then he'll have to be relocated. As if he understood, Sage stood slowly. He walked past them, calm, and sat beside the pups. The officer stared. You've got 72 hours to submit formal paperwork, or we'll take him into state custody. They didn't wait. That night, Nora and Luke called everyone, sent photos, letters, posted a video. Sage curled around the pups as the wind blew through. The trees. It was shared 10,000 times. Wildlife nonprofits called. Lawyers offered help. A wave of support grew. On the 3rd day, the officer returned. I saw the footage, he said. There's precedent. He handed over a provisional exemption. Sage could stay. There were rules, check-ins, but also truth. Sage had chosen this life, and now it was protected. Winter crept in. The pups grew stronger. Sage followed them, watched. Over them, not a sibling. Something older. He was never tamed. Never owned, but he was theirs. And they were his. From the porch, Nora watched. Bonnie's blanket still hung by the door, but the ache in her chest had softened. Sage had never replaced her. He'd carried what she left behind. Some animals are born wild, but some choose family. And every story here on Pawthos reminds us of the quiet power of compassion and the extraordinary importance of supporting animals in need. When you share these stories, you're helping others like Sage find the love, care, and home they deserve. Nonprofit rescue groups make these miracles possible because caring for animals isn't just about love. It's about responsibility and hope. Join us at Pawthos, where every rescue becomes a voice and every voice becomes a story worth hearing.